Hello, justtwogood here, and it's time to review more Ninjago Seabound.
And this is Lloyd's Hydro Mech, which is a 228-piece set with 2 minifigures retailing for $20 in the United States, where it releases August 1st. I got it a bit early thanks to my friends over at Jedi News. Go check them out. So the only other set that this Lloyd minifigure appears in is the Hydro Bounty. So this is a much cheaper way than that $130 set to get it in. And this design, I really love just how there's scuba ninja outfits. It's so ridiculous. Like there's an auction tank there that the sword just goes through. That's an interesting new piece where it attaches not only at the neck, but also at the hips. There's a dual molded mask there that has a translucent blue, as well as a green at the base. I actually thought it was triple molded with the last that I reviewed, but it is just a translucent piece going over that green coloring. And that's interesting because it has a ninja wrap at the back, but also just this scuba mask design at the front. And there's also some nice torso and leg printing and 2 black flippers there. And with those pieces removed, you can get a look at that interesting ninja wrap helmet piece, as well as this 2-part connection with the hip connection and the neck connection there. And we're still using the LEGO Ninjago movie Lloyd face, which is so freaking annoying. That's been used since 2017 in a billion sets, and you can get a look at his back facial printing, as well as some nice back torso printing. As for the Mare Guard of this set, well, the Wave Amulet and the Mare Guard come in all of the other sets of this wave, but since this is the cheapest one and then the next one's $40, it's a good inclusion and it's a good army builder. I don't mind getting these across all of the sets. I love that new headpiece they use with the sea serpent-like design, dual molded there with the blues and the black that they use. You can get a better look at that headpiece once it's removed with all the shaping even at the top and the dual molding at the inside there. And with the torso print, once it's removed, you get a better look at the front. And then with the back, I don't have the armor on either. And I like the wave amulet of this wave with that translucent blue they use that has that slight sparkle to it. That's just a really interesting color. So for the build of this set, this design has a pretty cool look, where not only do I like the greens they use with the olive green as well as that dark green, but I also like how this looks a bit like a wrecked sub or boat, and it uses those pieces salvaged into this mech, and I think that's just an interesting design. Now for the main part of that specific look, I love this shoulder pad right here, which uses an interesting piece with this bottom piece as a part of the mech. Usually I see that with like parts of planes in LEGO sets, but here it's in dark green in the $20 set, and it's really nice to see in this one. But let's take a close look starting at the cockpit. So for the cockpit, this piece is used with a lot of other LEGO Ninjago sets, and this way we have the trans blue base though. Anyways, there's 2 clip connections with the windscreen there, as well as with this base part right here. Speaking of which, I like how there's an asymmetrical build with this mech where we have on one side this tubing that goes to the back. But anyways, to open up the cockpit, since it's clipped on, all you have to do is push this forward, and if you want to go further, you can push that bottom part forward. And you can remove the Lloyd minifigure, who fits there pretty well. He has all that scuba gear on, and they recommend not putting him in with the flippers, because the flippers will pop off. But there's enough space at the back there to have him standing up. But with him removed, there's not too much in terms of controls or anything there. I kind of wish maybe, even if they were stickers, have some control parts inside there. But anyways, with that minifigure removed, you can see how the mech looks without a minifigure. And then to the right here, we have what I guess I'll refer to as the whole piece, as I was talking about earlier, that has a sticker on there. Now this is connected with a miniature ball joint, so you get some movement with that shoulder pad, and it's pretty interesting. There's also this light right here, which you can move up and down. Other than that, that conceals the ball joint connection with this right arm. You can see it right at the top there, and that moves this whole arm. And that's really the main movement for the arm, though there's a secondary movement at this hand part where you can move it forward and backward with this hinge connection right inside there. And then there's a feature with the claw here where you can open and close the claw. And that design is pretty good at pinching minifigures and holding them in place if you want to hold the guard right there. I do kind of wish that there was 2 things, which would be rotation at this claw part, because really the only movement you would get is with that hinge connection, and that there was, rotation, and also a feature to use the claw instead of just manually pinching it and closing it. Oof, almost forgot what I was going to say there. Other than that, there's a sticker right here, which adds to the detail of that salvage design. And then at the back, you can see there's not too much detailing with that claw design there. So the left arm has some similarities to the right arm with a shoulder pad piece that is connected with a miniature ball joint. You can see how they use the flaps at the front. And this design conceals, once again, a ball joint that moves the entire hand itself. Unfortunately, like the last arm, there's no middle elbow joint or anything like that. But we do get movement, once again, with this hinge connection. For this one, you can actually move the hand itself, where you could rotate it to a full 360 degrees. That's pretty darn cool. And this holds this sword here, which I really like the pearl gold design of. It's a simplistic build, but it works for what it is. The only thing that doesn't really work is that the connection of just that one clip there makes it pretty easy to fall off, especially during play. Also, the fingers right here don't really give it much of a grip, but it's cool that you can move those top two, which are clipped on. The bottom one is just fixed in place. Anyways, for the bottom half of the mech, these parts are attached with some miniature ball joints. And for the actual legs, they have a ball joint at the very top, which allows for movement of the entire leg. Now this section right here is fixed in place with a Technic pin connection, but you do get more movement with the feet here, which are connected with a ball joint as well. And you can see how these have two different stickers at the knees there, both on Next Knight's shield in that nice olive green. And at the very bottom, we have these modified 1x1s, which are clipped on, which I guess you could move, but they're really just meant to be put in this direction in terms of the design. And then they have this golden bar design in the middle, right at the bottom of the feet there. But those are pretty sturdy in standing this minifigure up. But anyways, with Lloyd back in, let's pose this guy, and you can see the mech is about to strike here. And here's another cool looking pose. And over here is another pose, which, yeah, you can make him hold the wave amulet in his hand. But that's it for the build set. Let's take a look at the packaging and the final verdict. Here's the front of the box with that classic thick $20 box size I love. And at the back, some different shots of the set. As for the instructions, on the inside we have an ad with the other sets of this wave. So overall, this is a mech that I could recommend because at $20, it actually has a pretty unique look to it. I like the overall salvaged underwater design, which we don't get too often with other mechs. And then the whole color scheme of this is a nice color scheme with the golds and the yellowish oranges and also the olive greens and darker greens just meshing together well with the black underline. And the overall design of this has enough articulation for it to be a recommendable mech. Is it the most articulated mech out there? No, I kind of wish there was stuff like elbow joints and knee joints and just a better rotation on that claw piece. But still, there's enough there for me to be satisfied with it. At the $20 price, I think the value of the build is there, and I think the minifigure selection is pretty good. I mean, there's not too many of these Seabound sets, so it is nice to get minifigures like this, especially in a cheap set, because this is the cheapest of the wave. After that, there's like a $40 set. So it's nice to get a cheaper alternative instead of buying the whole theme, even if none of the minifigures are exclusive. I think kids will love this one, but as an adult collector, it's enough to display and even articulate around as an interesting mech. So if all things considered, I rate this at a 7 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Subscribe for more LEGO Ninjago and LEGO content in general, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.